So, I want to invite you to spend the first few minutes in what we call yogi's choice. So, that could be legs up the wall, that could be laying over a bolster, that could be sitting, that could be laying on your back. We are officially into the waning moon right now, coming off the full moon from last week and heading towards the new moon. This is the exhale of the cycle. And right now, the moon is in the air element, the sun is in the air element, the sun is in the mutable air, and then the moon is in the fixed air. So it's very easy to be in our heads when we have a lot of air energy. So just kind of picking a place that really helps you to come into your body, into this space. So sometimes, again, it's like legs up the wall is one of my favorites, but then there's some days where I feel like I just want to lay on the earth or just sit. And we're going to begin with some sensing and some breathing. So when we're working with air energy, one of the main practices is pranayama, right? Is working with the breath. So we're going to work with some breath patterns today, but it is always great to let the body be comfortable so that we don't have to kind of worry about the body initially. We can let the body start to settle. So when we put the legs up the wall, or we lay over the bolsters, we allow the body to rest and kind of reset, and then we can turn the attention to the breathing. So just, take your time and find a place that feels comfortable and cozy and accessible for you. And then just begin to notice your breathing. So just starting to breathe in and out, maybe allowing the first few exhales to come out the mouth, helping to release any excess or stagnant energy. Air energy is mental energy, the energy of the mind. And in yoga, we work with the idea that as the breath goes, so goes the mind. And so when we are feeling a lot of thoughts, or maybe we're feeling the opposite, we're feeling kind of foggy or fuzzy, the breath begins to bring clarity. It begins to sharpen the mind. And so beginning to breathe now in and out through the nose. So if you were doing mouth breath, then go ahead and come back to breathing in and out through the nose. If that's comfortable, sometimes if we are a little congested, it might not be as easy to breathe through the nose. So just again, breathe comfortably. You might even rest a hand at your heart and belly if that's accessible to you, and begin to really feel the breath moving through the belly, the lungs, the chest, up through the nostrils, and just that whole full breath pattern. And the lunar cycle has four major parts. We have the waxing phase, which is the new moon up till almost the full moon. And then we have the full moon. And then we have the waning moon, which begins to move full to new or dark. And so the breath has a similar shape. We feel the inhale expand, and we feel the top of the breath. And then we exhale and gently contract, and then we have the bottom. And just start to feel into this pattern, this rhythm, this cycle. And we're going to start to count the breath. And initially, we want to balance those four parts. So, depending on the breath, and some days it's more shallow or more deep, you might start with something like 2 or 3, inhaling 2, holding 2, exhaling 2, holding 2. Or you might be able to comfortably move that up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, it really varies, and there's no right or wrong. It's conscious breath. But just see if you can find a count that you can bring to all four parts. Let the back body relax. As you breathe, the body can soften, the face, the neck, the shoulders, the arms and hands, the chest and belly. the back and the pelvis and the legs and the feet. And then keeping the same breathing pattern, we're going to just see if we can add an extra beat to the exhale. So if you're working with 2, you're inhaling 2, holding 2, exhaling 3, holding 2. And if it's possible, you can even extend that exhale till it's almost double. So you would be inhaling 2, hold 2, exhale 4, hold 2, as an example. But not forcing it. If it feels like you're forcing it, then back away. And you can keep them equal, or just like I said, let's see if that exhale can get 1 beat. Because that is the part of the breath that is connected to the waning cycle. That is also the part of the breath that lowers the heart rate, the blood pressure, and it begins to invite the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response. And if the mind gets distracted, come back to the breath pattern, the count, body continuing to relax, count your breath. As the mind goes, well, as the breath goes, so goes the mind. I guess it's true the other way. As the mind goes, so goes the breath. If we're following the mind, the breath can get very shallow. Just a few more rounds. Great pranayama to work with when you're going to bed or doing relaxation, just starting to sense the breath, count the breath, let that exhale get a bit longer. And then go ahead and release the count and just see if you can still sense that without counting. And there still be an awareness of the inhale, the top of the breath, that longer exhale, and the bottom of the breath. And then can you imagine that you're inhaling up the back of the body to the crown of the head? So you inhale up the back of the body, pause at the top of the crown of the head, and then allow a long exhale from the crown all the way down. And as you hold the exhale, can you hold your feet? So inhale, breathing up the back of the body, pausing at the crown. Exhaling down the front of the body, holding at the feet. This way we use that air element, that breath element to cleanse. It's though someone were burning sage or Palo Santo or some kind of herb, and with a feather, with a fan, moving it up the body to the top of the head, down the body to the feet. And purifying and clarifying with the breath. Under the waning moon, the air element. Breathing up the back of the body, pausing at the crown. Exhaling down the front of the body, holding the feet. And a few more rounds like this, helping the body to relax as well, releasing tension, stagnancy. Your breath cleansing, purifying. And then again, slowly let go. Just be aware of a natural breath now. So again, letting yourself scan through the body, from the crown down to the feet to the crown. Sensing. And then let your breath deepen. You might begin to bring movement into the fingers and the toes. Any movement that feels good for you tonight. Wiggling, shifting, stretching, maybe taking a couple exhales out the mouth. And we'll take the time and come to seated, but if you're already seated, you might adjust your seat or anything that feels good to help you to kind of reestablish the connection with the earth. And you can also always sit in a chair or on a couch. And if you sit that way, you can have your feet planted on the mat, spine long. And you can bring a hand to heart and a hand to belly, gentle rock. We'll tone our lunar mantra for this waning moon week. Om Chandraya Namaha. We bow to the wisdom of the waning moon, and you can listen or hum or join in with me to chant the mantra. Inhale. Om Chandraya Namaha. We can do a few more rounds of humming just to begin to stimulate the vagus nerve, and sound is also great for the energy the moon is in. The Aquarian air element works with sound. So we're just gonna hum 3 times, nice and long and smooth. And big breath in. Then you can slowly just start to move into some spinal circles or seated cat-cow, if for any reason you have a preference there. Always honoring the intuitive movement of the body in the lunar practice. Soft eyes, soft face. I'm just beginning to now connect the breath with movement rather than doing the breath with the body relaxing. Feel the inhale as the chest moves forward, the exhale as we move back. The inhale generally connected to the expansive movement, the exhale to the contraction or the return. During the waning cycle, we sometimes have less energy. The practice is less active. Of course, we have all of our own body cycles as well. So, that may not be true all the time for everyone. And so we want to honor that. I definitely have times during the waxing cycle where I'm not feeling as energetic. Right? It was very different when humans worked with, natural light only. So we were all working with the lunar cycles because that's what, gave us light at night. Reverse the direction if you're circling. Otherwise, just keep your cat cow flowing. Our bodies, used to just have the light of the sun, the light of the moon, and then occasionally, firelight. And it's been a long time now that we've had electricity, that we've had the ability to have things be really bright in our cities, the light pollution, so much light. Most of us are rarely in the actual dark. And it's important actually for our circadian rhythms that we spend some time in the natural light and try to adjust our homes. But again, only so much we can do, and we live in, cities and everything. Bring it back to center, nice lifted spine. And if you've been sitting cross-legged, you can switch the cross of the legs, or again, just make sure you're comfortable. I usually cue that just because when we are sitting in Sukhasana, whatever leg is in front is opening up the hip a little more. So it is good to switch it periodically just so we're opening the hips evenly. We're just going to take a little bit of side body movement here. So as you inhale, one arm comes up, turn the gaze down, and then bring it on up to the other side. Actually, sorry, we're going to inhale up and then exhale over. So inhale as we come through center, exhale into the side bend, let the head turn down. Just again, letting the spine start to move. It's one of the secrets of yoga, why we feel so good when we do yoga, is because we move the spine in all of its directions, which helps to bring sort of optimal energy flow to the spine. And continue to breathe. And again, just let your head turn down as you side bend. In the waning moon, a lot of the indigenous cultures say the moon hides her face during the waning time. So I like to honor that in the waning practice by letting the head turn down. And then sometimes during the waxing practice, consciously opening up. But of course, listen for your neck and your energy flow. Again, for some people, it just feels better to keep the head down or up or just neutral. Whatever side you come to next, you can hold. Top arm can be overhead or behind the head or behind the back. And you can always use pillows or props underneath the bottom arm. And just focus on the breath, maybe some little micro movements appear, kind of lifting and lowering the head or rolling the shoulder back and down. Or maybe you just find a nice spot to breathe into the side body. And then inhale, bring it up. Exhale to the other side, and each side is different. So that top arm might move a little bit differently, or those micro movements might come through slightly different here. The neck might feel different. It's bringing some curiosity. Curiosity is a key word of the solar energy we're in right now, the mutable air element, being curious. It's always nice to be curious about the body. And then bring it on up. Relax your hands on your thighs. Sit up tall and roll your shoulders one way, nice and slow, big rolls. Relaxed eyes, relaxed jaw. That circular movement, great for lubrication of the joints. And reverse the direction. You might hear some crackling and other little sound effects of the lactic acid. Let me breathe, continue to breathe, conscious breath. Inhale, draw the shoulders up. Exhale, relax them down. Again, roll them up and relax down. One more time, roll up and relax. Again, sit up nice and tall. And you can press your fingertips down now into the mat at your sides or keep them on your thighs. And now just let the head roll side to side. So as you inhale, the chin will come back to parallel, and then you'll bring your ear down and alternating. So shoulders are rolling down the back, spine is long. If either the fingertips pressing into the floor or again, resting on your thighs. I just want to make sure the neck is as long as it can be. And then again, whatever side your head lands on, pause. And you might just allow the ear to move to the shoulder. You can kind of roll your chin in a little half circle, up and down. Or just stay still. You can also play with that opposite arm. You can reach it out even more, walk it away from you, or you can lift it up and even rotate your wrist a little bit there, your hand, or just stay focused on the neck. Keep lengthening. And then slowly bring the head back to center and just give a gentle shake. Just to release a little bit, let the head turn side to side. Inhale to center, exhale, let the ear move to the other shoulder. And again, maybe you just stay here and breathe. Maybe you start to move the head around a little bit. Maybe that opposite arm comes in. And this side is different. This side might have less tension, more tension, that curiosity, that deep breath. Just moving along the neck. And then inhale, bring it back to center. Again, little turn side to side. Inhale, center, exhale, tuck your chin, slide your hands to your shin. So we're in that cat stretch. Tuck the chin, round back as much as you comfortably can. So we're feeling the back of the neck, the back of the chest, back of the mid back. You might even slide your chin across your chest. Again, that little half moon shape. And draw it up to center. Big breath in. Exhale, left hand behind you and turn your head left. And the right hand can just stay at center, or you can take it to the left leg and gently pull yourself a little bit deeper into the twist. Keep sitting tall. You can also turn your head back towards the front or the right as well. Just breathe up along the spine. Inhale back to center. Give a little shake. Exhale to the other side. Just beginning to look to the right. Left hand can stay forward or start to grab onto that right leg to kind of get a little resistance to twist back. Deep breath in. And exhale, release. And bring your arms up and just give them a nice shake. Just shake at your arms. And they can stay kind of shoulder height. If it feels okay to bring them up overhead, that can be nice too. You might hear some, again, little crackling, popping. And you can turn your hands forward and to the sides, just rotating the wrists even behind you. Just find that rotation, little shake. Big breath in. And then exhale, release. You can go ahead and shift back and bend your knees and take your feet as wide as your mat, if not wider. And then bring your hands forward. So a variation of squat here. The feet are as wide as the mat and the toes can turn out. And we're holding the insides of the legs and pressing the arms into the legs as we lift the chest. And make sure you're pressing your feet into the floor so your knees are pointing up. And then roll your shoulders back, lift the chest. Now you can stay just like this, or you'll bring your hands into prayer. That's going to get us a little bit more into both the hips and the upper back. So as you bring your hands to prayer and bring the thumbs towards the chest, again, keep the knees pointing up. So you've got the arms pressing into the thighs pressing into the arms, and your feet are down. So lifting the upper back, the postural muscles, opening the hips, lift the spine. We're going to take 3 hums here. So sitting up nice and tall, big inhale. Pressing into the legs, lift your spine up a little more. Give your head again a little shake side to side. Inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Shift back. Bring your feet together into bound angle. And for a moment, just hold on to the ankles and flutter the knees. And you can scooch the heels in towards the pelvis, staying up nice and tall. Soften the jaw. Again, shake out the head. Breathing into the hips. And you can stay upright here with this movement. You can also come back into some spinal movement, or for a few breaths, you can round forward into Baddha Konasana. You can also do this with support. Use your blocks or bolsters under your arms or your head, but just a few more breaths, either, again, still fluttering or circling or cat-cowing or just folding. If you are circling, make sure to reverse direction after about 3 big circles. And stay with your breath. Feel into your breath as we breathe into the hips, into the back. And gently roll it up. Pull your knees in, and then we're gonna roll down onto the back. So make sure you do have a block or something nearby. We're not gonna use it just yet, but we will use it shortly. Just make sure it's there. Go ahead and stretch your legs long, your arms long as you come down, and just feel your whole body. Just take a big, big stretch. Ooh, you might even yawn like I did. Reach through your arms, your legs, big breath in. And then as you exhale, hug the right knee in and just give it a little rock. Just releasing the back, relax the head. You can even have a little pillow or blanket under your head here. Give that right knee a squeeze. And then inhale, stretch everything out. Really big, big breath. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, hug the left knee in. Give it a nice squeeze, rock side to side. And just releasing the back, supporting our digestion. I've been sitting for a while, so usually it feels pretty good to lay down on the earth after that. And then inhale, reach everything up. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows out to the sides into goalposts, and then bend your knees so your feet are as wide as the mat. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, start to windshield wipe the knees to one side. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. So just feeling into a twist for the lower spine. And then if you want, you can let your head turn the opposite direction of the knee. So then we're getting the upper spine back into it. So slow this down, still working with the breath and the body. A lot of times during the waning cycle, I do like to have a practice closer to the earth. And even though we have a lot of air element, again, it's a lot of times nice when there's a lot of air to intentionally ground a bit. We will have water energy the second half of this week. So this little supine flow for that water element. As this weekend, we'll have fire and air, which can be a little sometimes more aggressive or energetic or agitated. And so ideally we'll use the air element this week to kind of calm and clarify the mind, and then the water energy to sort of soothe and nourish. And then that fire energy can hopefully be really helpful to just purify and transform as we start to move towards the new moon next week. Or yes, later next week. Towards the end of the week next week. One more to each side here. And then as you come back to center, go ahead and reach out and hug both knees in. And now just rock here. And you can just rock side to side, or hold on to the knees and let's find that circular movement again. And the knees can be together or they can separate. And just breathe, either rocking and hugging the knees in or circling. If you are circling, let's go the other way. Really nice for the hips. And the low back, and again, the digestive organs. Waning cycle, all about that rest and digest. Good, hug the knees in. Just roll out your ankles, and if you want, you can even stretch your legs up if that's not too much on your core. Just stretch your legs straight up and roll the ankles out. It's really nice for the lymphatic system. Have the feet over the head like that, and then circling. Take another big breath wherever you are, and then if the legs are extended, go ahead and bring them back in. And then we'll all place the feet down about hip width distance apart. Heels a comfortable distance from the pelvis, arms down by the sides. Planting the palms, the feet, and the back of the skull. As you inhale, begin to tuck and roll up into bridge. And then down. So we're going to come back to that breath pattern from the beginning. As you inhale, use the inhale to roll up. Pause at the top. And then a slower roll all the way down, little pause at the bottom. So finding that breath. Once you've established that, you can kind of keep this flow and just go with that. Or we're going to bring a little bit more of the upper body in. So as you inhale and roll up, you'll lift up one arm, and at the top, you'll turn your head the opposite direction. So if your right arm's up, the head will go to the left. And then as you exhale, you'll lower that arm down, head comes neutral. And then on the next inhale, you'll lift the other arm, and at the top, you'll turn towards. And then exhale, lower. So you can add that in, or if that's too much, then just stay with what we were doing. It kind of works to pause as the head turns and then lower. And if you want to come back to counting the breath, you can, just to kind of make sure you're sort of still in that rhythm. Or if it gets to be too much with the arms, you can just keep the arms down. Or you can lift both arms as you come up and then pause there at the top. And then on the exhale, you can roll your spine down first and then lower the arms there. So that usually gets pretty deep into the upper back. So if that's too much, just stay with the one arm each. Or and keep your arms down the entire time. Bridge work is so therapeutic for so many different things. For the knees, for the spine. Really great to stretch the core, strengthen the back body. It's a mild inversion, it's a heart opener. And we are going to start to come towards a supported bridge. So that can really be up to you. If you're really into the rhythm and you want to keep that going for a little bit longer, you don't even have to do the supported version if you don't want to. Or if you're ready for it, you would just, again, need to grab a block or a firm, but pretty much anything that's sort of flat and firm. Because as you lift your hips, it would come right underneath the sacrum tailbone, the little flat section. And then draw the shoulders on the back. The knees can knock together. You can also stretch your legs out long. Or we can come back to bringing the knees in or the legs straight up for a supported shoulder stand. And again, you can kind of come back to moving through the ankles and the feet if that feels good, or just keep your feet down. And then here, I want to invite you to come into that body awareness. Again, inhaling up the back of the body to the crown, exhaling front of the body to the feet. So if you're staying in the more active bridge, then just stay with that breathing pattern. But if you come into the supported version, come back into the body sensing breathing pattern. And let go of any of the breathing patterns. Just come back to a natural breath. Your feet are in any other position. You can also place your feet on the mat. And then very slowly, you can start to come out of that bridge. As you come out, you can again bring the soles of the feet together for a moment. And put your arms up overhead or rest a hand to heart and belly, just allowing a moment here. And you can keep the legs in bound angle or we'll come into sleeping pigeon. So for sleeping pigeon, you'll bend one knee and then cross the opposite ankle over it. We'll do both sides, so whatever side makes sense. You cross the ankle over the thigh and then the knee that's bent, the foot can stay on the floor or you can hug it in towards the chest. Just make sure your head and your tailbone stay down. And the foot that's crossed, you want to gently flex the foot. So the foot is kind of pressing straight out. Again, reaching the tailbone and the back of the head down. And you can rock a little bit or just be still here. Really stay with a deep breath, especially come back to that exhale, a nice long exhale. We come into the hip opener, helping to clear out any emotional debris. Keep your head relaxed, your jaw relaxed, your eyes relaxed. Big breath in. Take an exhale out the mouth. And we'll gently switch sides. You can always rock a little bit or do that little windshield wiper between sides or hug your knees in. And we'll cross the opposite ankle over the thigh and that bent knee can either stay on the floor, you can hug it in, just make sure the ankle that's crossed is flexed, no pain in the joint. And we do, again, want to make sure the tailbone and the head are down. Shoulders also settling. Deep breath in. Big breath out. And slowly release. Hug the knees in. Rock. Then we'll roll the whole body to the left and stack your knees here. You can even put a pillow underneath them or between them. We're going to come into a twist. And you can stretch the left arm out, and then the right arm can reach up and roll open to the right. And if you want, you can kind of move in and out of this. So as you exhale, you can bring yourself into fetal pose. And as you inhale, you can sweep that right arm up and out to the right. So then we're getting into that right side of the chest as well as the twist. So the knees stay stacked, and you can even let that left hand rest on the right thigh. And then again, you can roll in and out with that right arm, or just settle into the twist and stay here. Right shoulder down, head to the right. And just breathing into the twist. Find that exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale to let it go. Roll everything to the left for a moment. Just curl into that fetal pose. And then we'll slowly roll over to fetal pose on the right. So again, first find that fetal pose, stack your knees. Maybe have a blanket or pillow between the knees or under the knees. Right arm out or resting on the left thigh. And then you can start to play with rolling that left arm open. And you might just do it once and then hold the twist the whole time, or roll kind of in and out. And depending if you want to get a little bit deeper into the chest, into the shoulder, just hold that very cleansing twist. Big inhale. Open mouth. Exhale. And then come into that fetal pose for a moment. And then you can roll yourself on your back, or we're going to roll up. We're going to move into final relaxation. So if you roll onto your back, you can hug the knees in or circle the knees or rock the knees again. And then you want to just consider where you want to finish. So if you want to take a traditional Shavasana on the back, support the head, place something under the knees. You can also either, take another yogi's choice. So that might look like legs up the wall if you didn't already do that, or even if you did, you can do it again. Or laying over the bolsters or pillows. And just giving yourself that space to rest. Start to feel the earth and the air. You can even feel into water and the lymph and the emotions, and fire and the heart and the circulation. That pattern of breath, and the moon around the earth and the earth around the sun, waxing, full, waning, new. Let your breath now become effortless but present. As the body relaxes more deeply, you watch the breath the way you might watch clouds in the sky or waves at the ocean. Softening, yielding. Let your body continue to let go with every breath. Your face and head, your throat and neck, the length of your spine, your back, the shoulders and arms and hands, the chest and belly, front and back of the pelvis, the legs and feet and legs and pelvis, and belly and chest and spine and back and hands and arms and neck and throat and face and head. Whole body being breathed. Whole body releasing under the waning moon. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, just a couple more moments to breathe and be breathed and release. And you can continue to rest here, and I always welcome that. But to honor the container of the hour practice, if you need to move forward in your evening, you can begin to deepen the breath. Or maybe invite movement back. The fingers and the toes and the wrists and ankles and the head and the neck. Any wiggling or shifting that feels good. And you can again roll to one side, or you can rock yourself up to sit. You might bring a hand to heart and belly and find that gentle rocking that is soothing to the system. And we seal the practice with sound, and we'll work with the heart sound. That's the sound associated with the air element, the sound of yam, bringing us fully into the heart for this week, this waning moon week. And the first yam will be to honor yourself, and the second yam to all those suffering, and our final yam in gratitude for our Mother Earth and Grandmother Moon. And you can also just listen or hum or join in. Yam. 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 And you can draw the hands to heart, rub the palms, take a big breath in. Open mouth, exhale, left hand up to the sky, to the left, right hand down. One more big inhale, lift, hold, exhale, hands to the earth, and we bow. Om Chandraya Namaha. Have a blessed week, and I hope to see you soon.